Welcome back to the Awakening Tapes. This is Lucas Olson, and today we're journeying into a deeply personal and often hidden landscape of the heart. The relationship between adult children and their parents. Specifically, we're talking about a painful dynamic that many of our generations are waking up to. The experience of having parents who, lost in their own unhealed pain, look to their children to fill an emotional void they cannot fill themselves. This is the parent who plays a victim, who subtly manipulates, who complains endlessly about their lives, but never truly listens to yours. It's a dynamic that can feel like emotional theft, creating a deep and lasting trauma. What is our role when the people who are meant to be our source have become a drain? How do we become ourselves, set boundaries, and heal without carrying the guilt? That is the difficult, beautiful work we are about to do today. So let's begin. Imagine a young, vibrant tree planted in a small private garden. The gardener who planted it loves the idea of the tree. They talk about its beauty and how proud they are of it. But the gardener is perpetually cold and lives in a house without windows. Desperate for warmth and light, they spend all their days pressed up against the young tree, their shadow completely covering it. Your trees are so wonderful, the gardeners would say, while blocking the sun the tree needs to grow them. The gardeners complain to the tree about the lack of shade in the garden, about how hard it is to be a gardener, and about how the rain never falls quite right. They draw water from the tree's well and quench their own thirst, all while lamenting how thirsty they are. The tree, in turn, learns that its purpose is to be the source of the gardener. Its own growth is secondary, even selfish. Its roots grow shallow, always seeking approval, and its branches grows warped, twisting to find any sliver of light the gardener's shadow will allow them. The tree grows up believing that love is being needed, that the value is in what it can provide for the perpetually cold and needy gardeners. It doesn't realize that it was never meant to be the gardener's son, but to grow on its own. It doesn't understand that its own stunted growth is not a personal failure, but a natural result of a love that took far more than it ever gave. This story, for many of us, is not a metaphor, it's a biography. This dynamic, sometimes called emotional incest or covert incest, is not about physical violations. It's a profound boundary violation where a parent turns to their child for emotional intimacy, validation, and support they should be finding in other adults. Their child is forced into a role of a tiny spouse, a therapist, a cheerleader. Their job becomes managing their parents' emotions. This parent often plays victim, a tactic of manipulation that frames any attempt by their child to set boundaries as an act of cruelty. After all I've done for you, you're hurting me by saying no? This is a classic line. They complain about their spouse, their job, their lives, unloading their pain onto you. But the moment you try to share your own struggles, their eyes glaze over. The conversation quickly returns to them. It's a one-way street of energy. They are always taking, always hungry, because they are disconnected from their own inner wellspring, their own pain, and their own responsibility to heal it. And you are not responsible to heal them. The spiritual weight of this is immense. You are tethered to them, not by a cord of mutual love, but by a chain of obligation, guilt, and a deep, childlike hope that if you just give enough, do enough, be enough, they will finally see you. They will finally give you that unconditional love you've always craved. The core wound is realizing they can't. They can't give you what they don't have themselves. So we stand here as adults, holding on to this painful truth. The well is empty, and we are still thirsty. So what now? Do we stay there, hoping for rain? Or do we thank the well for what it was, and begin our sacred journey of digging our own? This is a turning point. It's not about blame. It's about responsibility. Our responsibility now is to our own soul. Let's see what wisdom the cards have to say for our collective journey today. I'm shuffling the deck right now, holding the intentions for clarity and gentle guidance for everyone listening who feels this story in their bones. Our spread is the challenge, the action, and the potential. So firstly, the challenge laid before us is the moon. This card is the realm of illusions, deep subconscious patterns, and confusion. It represents the murky, unspoken emotional rules of the family system. It's the feeling that something is wrong, but you can't quite name it. The moon is the fog of guilt, the obligation that keeps us from seeing the dynamic clearly. Our challenge is to navigate this twilight territory and trust our intuition, our signal, even when the path isn't logical and clear. Our card for action is the Queen of Swords. She is a beacon of clarity in the fog of the moon. This queen has been through hardship and has gained wisdom. She no longer tolerates nonsense. Her sword cuts through illusion, emotion, and sentimentality to get to the truth. The action, then, is to embody this energy. It is the practice of setting firm, clear, unapologetic boundaries. It is speaking your truth with precision and without malice. It is becoming a sovereign of your own emotional kingdom. And our potential, the beautiful destination of this work, is the star. This card appears after the tower, after crisis and destruction. It is a card of profound healing, hope, and connection to the divine. It's the feeling of peace after a long storm. The potential is not just to survive this, but to emerge with a renewed sense of purpose and direction connection, and a direct connection to your own inner guidance, your own light. It promises that by taking the action of the Queen, you can heal the wounds of the moon and find a universe of light within yourself. You become your own source. To go a little deeper, I pulled one more card to meditate on this time, and this is the Five of Wands. This card depicts 5 figures, each brandishing a staff, seemingly in conflict. But if you look closely, they aren't trying to seriously harm one another. It's more like a chaotic, competitive scrimmage with no clear rules or objective. This is the perfect symbol of the family dynamic we're discussing right here. It represents that state of constant low-grade conflict and friction. It's endless arguments, about small things that aren't really big things. It's a jockeying for a position, that the talking over one another, the feeling that you always have to be on the defense. The Five of Wands reminds us that you cannot win a game that has no rules and no end. The only way to find peace is to put your wand down and walk away from the chaotic, pointless battle. So how do we put down the wand? How do we integrate this? The solution is not to change your parents. That is not your work. The solution is to change your own energetic field. This is the spiritual physics of healing. First is the principle of acceptance. This is a radical, heartbreaking, and liberating acceptance that your parents is who they are. You must grieve the parents you wish you had to be able to see the one you actually have clearly. You release the hope that they will change, and in doing so, you take your power back. You are no longer waiting. Second is the spiritual alchemy of turning this pain into power. Every moment you felt unseen, unheard, or drained is now fuel. You use that memory to teach you, with perfect clarity, how to see or hear and nourish yourself. You become your parents to choose your own inner child that you always needed. This is how you alchemize lead into gold. And finally, you apply that law of renaissance. You are a turning fork. You are constantly engaging in drama and chaos of the Five of Wands energy. You are vibrating at that frequency. By setting boundaries, by choosing not to engage, by walking away from the pointless battle, you are consciously choosing to vibrate at a higher frequency. Hold up. There. Much higher. The frequency of the star, of peace, of self-worth. Your parent may not be able to meet you there, and it's okay. Your job is to hold your own note. This is the path. It's not about a dramatic cutoff unless it's necessary for your safety. For many, it's about an eternal cutoff. An energetic boundary that says, I love you, I will be kind to you, but my emotional well is no longer open for public use. It is sacred, and it is for me. The greatest gift you can give to your parents who doesn't see you is to fully and unapologetically see yourself. Your journey is not to fix the broken pieces of their past, but to build a beautiful, whole future from your own. Your life is your own masterpiece to create, not a debt to be paid back. The song that comes to mind for this journey is Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. The lyrics, well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Perfectly captures that poignant, painful, and necessary moment of separation and self-realization that defines this healing process. To help integrate this, here are 3 prompts for your journal this week. Where in my body do I feel energetic completely drained after interacting with my parents. Describe the physical sensation without judgment. Number 2, write a loving letter from your highest self to your inner child, promising that you will keep them safe and be the source of love they always deserved. And 3, if fear and guilt were not factors, what would one clear, kind, and firm boundary look like in my relationship with my parent? What is the small step I can take to enact it? And before I sign off, I want to give you a special shout out to a wonderful soul and gifted tarot reader on TikTok, Flower Princess. Her insights are always so clear and compassionate. If you're looking for more guidance, go check her out. Thank you for joining me on the Awakening Tapes. Be kind to yourself and trust your signal. I'm going to include a song called My Love Is Not a Debt that I wrote with Suno. Thank you for listening to this entire podcast, and I hope you enjoy this.
I speak into the glass again, a ghost of breath, a phantom friend. You ask me for my color and paint your gray skies in. You show me all your fractures, the architecture of your pain, and I become a shelter to stand inside the rain. And the river only runs one way, from my heart into your yesterday. Drink but never see that the water level's falling inside of me. I learned to be a mirror, to be an empty room, to hold your heavy weather, to absorb your quiet gloom. I erase my own design, left the canvas clean and white, so you could draw your portrait in my fading light. And the river only runs one way, from my heart into your yesterday. A well of quiet feeling. You drink but never see that the water level's falling inside of me. There's a song